My daughter is almost 8 years old. There is a valve that opens and closes in the pulmonary artery to let blood go to the lungs and back. Hers was malformed. I have a child with a pre-existing condition.
That night, this boy offered to take me home. I was sexually assaulted, and that is traumatic enough. But unfortunately, it didn't end there.
I always put my kids first. Never want them to go through or see even 1% of what I've seen. Being a single parent is hard. I wanted to work. I'm college educated, but I can't even get to the interview because I didn't have no one to watch my kids. It's a struggle, but I'm still fighting.
Poverty is absolutely a gendered experience in our society. And there's no way to talk about equal rights for women without also talking about the economic conditions that women face.
Do I get these shoes for the kids or do I get this food? Do I pay the light bill or do I pay the gas bill? It's gonna be times that you don't know where the next meal's gonna come from. It really just took a lot of odd jobs. I've been homeless 2 times.
We're working really hard to try to educate people about those different issues, as well as to promote policies that undermine those inequalities.
Our phone lines are flooded with students reporting that they were harassed, that they experienced violence, and that their schools didn't support them. Anytime someone comes forward and makes a complaint to their school, that in and of itself is a really bold act that comes with a lot of risks.
Because I spoke up about the assault, because I reported it, I deserved to get jumped. I tried my best to just avoid all of them completely, but it became impossible. There are just too many of them. I was pushed in the hallway by one of these boys. So I went to the administration office. I sat there until somebody would listen to me. And the principal then said, this has been a waste of everyone's time. So that day I went home early and decided never to go back.
The issue of gender-based violence in schools, it is a fundamental issue around access. It can have lifelong consequences. It changes whether and where they go to college, the type of jobs that they ultimately get. It's a moral issue, it's a civil rights issue, but it is a core economic issue for women and their families.
When Congress and the president said they wanted to repeal the Affordable Care Act and that was going to be the first legislative priority, it was devastating.
She's got scars all over her chest. Our worry has always been insurance, health insurance for her. So when I watched our government vote to take that away from her, I felt like it was an attack on my child.
Some of the provisions in the Affordable Care Act that make sure that insurance plans don't discriminate against women or don't treat children's health conditions as pre-existing. We helped to write some of that language that protect women and have really changed the landscape for women in this country. To think about a Congress and administration that would take all of this progress away, that's just not right, and we couldn't return to that. And it's really my role to bring her story to these policymakers and to say, here's what's at risk.
We look at a broad variety of strategies, whether it's tax policies that help people get needed support for paying for things like childcare. We are working to raise awareness of things like the wage gap, budget policies that make it so that if you are stuck in a low-wage job, there's making sure that people can still put food on the table, can keep their roof over their heads.
To think that this could potentially happen to somebody else is unbearable to me. If I don't speak up about it, then it won't ever get changed.
There's this law called Title IX that bans sex discrimination in education. That law's been around for 45 years. It's time for you to get with the program. We filed a complaint in federal court on behalf of Darby Ann. and we're representing her in that case.
We stayed up and we watched the Senate vote, and this is why we did what we did. This is why we wrote all those letters. Using our voice made a difference.
When parents are living in poverty, that means that their kids are more likely to live in poverty. If we can help a mom like Shantara, if we can help women, we help their entire families do better.
What I live for is a better life for them.
No matter what, like, you knock us down, we get back up and we dust our kids off and we keep showing up every day.
Now is not the time to sit back and say, well, that's someone else. Someone else can handle that and tackle that.
We use the law in all of its forms. Taking on individual clients, we pass new laws and policies. We aren't out here on our own. We are doing this work on our digital channels with organizers, with clients who are ready for real and meaningful change. That's what we're fighting for.